Hi everyone, welcome to this class. We're going to paint a landscape today, and I already did this test piece. It's actually still wet. I wanted to kind of figure out how I'm going to place the clouds. So overall, when we look at the reference, we have these big dark clouds, I guess, and gray clouds. And whenever I paint clouds, I like to use primary colors, so yellow, blue, red. So we're gonna keep this palette pretty simple. And another thing is I like to figure out like how I'm going to place them overall. In my opinion, like from my experience, you never want to like get caught in trying to match to like every single cloud you see in the reference. It's not important. It's all about light and shadows. So you want to preserve some areas to stay much lighter. That's where you want to add less paint. Overall, like I did stay away from some of the areas like over here or here. So those are like the lightest areas. That's where I didn't actually directly add colors there, but we do have some blue sky in there. So once I added my lightest values or lightest colors that I could see in that sky, so for the clouds, before I started going for all these darks, the shadows, the darkest parts of the clouds, that's when I applied a little bit of follow blue red shade. So these are the colors I'm going to use for this painting. So now we need to have them squeezed onto our palettes. So you want to have these colors on your palette, and you want to have these colors diluted with water. And I like to say that you want to have your colors diluted with water to that consistency that I like to call heavy cream-like ratio between water and paint. So this is what my color palette looks like. My palette, this is a plastic palette. I have raw sienna, yellow ochre, quin red, burnt sienna, Van Dyke brown, imidazolam yellow, phthalo blue. There's a little bit of quin red, but as you see, I didn't really mix it that well together, so I still have the separation of colors, and then indigo here. So this is my flat 40 brush. This is that one little cloud that I'm gonna keep that light or the line from the sketch paper dry, I should say. That makes more sense this way. I did it with my test piece, and that's why I'm thinking like, well, you know what, that little highlight kind of is nice there, but if I was wetting the back side, I wouldn't worry about it. So there's my palette. This is my yellow ochre, some of this imidazolam yellow. I'm gonna start slowly. This is the blend, right? I'm not mixing colors really on the paper. I'm sorry, on the palette. I'm not trying to. I want all of this to happen on the paper. So a little wider strokes. That's why I'm using a flat brush. And this is how I'm kind of mapping this around. Like I'm trying to decide, okay, these are the main clouds over here. I want to keep it lighter too. And there's my phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is more like it's a milk-like ratio, but I don't have that much on my brush. It's just a little bit. And actually, maybe I need to have it more diluted with water, more water, because it felt like it wasn't spreading much. But I'm gonna go back to add a little more before I start adding this phthalo blue, or yeah, whatever blue we're using. Maybe a little bit of that here too. But here, back here, I don't want this to dry yet because I want to actually add shadows into that muddiness, and I don't want that. I want to keep the clouds over lighter a little bit. I know they are pretty dark when we look at the reference, but I did the other test piece, and I think lighter is the way to go actually. And then here I have a separation of colors, which is what I want, but maybe too much of that blue showing. So there's more of that yellow in it now too. It's just now I had a little more of the yellow, and now I'm adding a little more of the blue and red, for example. And then it's just kind of like dabbing on the paper in a way. And maybe a little bit of that here and here. I don't want to lose those nice lighter clouds, but here I could add some more color, for example. The same thing here. And this is like a yellow gray, so I changed the shade of it, which is pretty because now I have different shade of it too. And you can do this as long as this is still wet. So I'm kind of going to follow that pattern of like how I see these shadows kind of aligned this way, the shadows going this way. And this is my quill brush size 2. So I'm going to grab these colors. So this is my raw sienna, yellow ochre. And this is almost dry. Like I have to hurry up, and actually I have too much water. It needs to be more like a heavy cream. I'm just gonna add this foliage towards some of these areas only. Why like a heavy cream? If you have anything more diluted with water, you create blooms, and I'm almost like creating blooms here actually because I had too much water at first. But I want to keep these shadows there so I can see the shadows, so I can show there's shadows, right? I'm trying to follow a little bit my sketch line, which is kind of hard a little bit, to be honest, because I did lines for like the clouds and so on, but this is kind of like where I think I marked for myself where the grass is going to be, the grassy parts. So from now on, everything I'm going to add, like the paint, it has to be more like a cream top like ratio between water and paint. Otherwise, the paint will spread too much and too much water will cause a bloom. There's my Van Dyke Brown cream top and some of this burnt sienna. Again, Van Dyke Brown, burnt sienna. I'm just going to designate a couple areas for those shadows where I can place this grass. Pulling the paint. So it's cream top and just kind of pulling the paint. I wish this was a little still damp, but it's not. So I'm just gonna go towards the areas that are still kind of wet-ish. The main key to me is to simplify the sky and to not get caught in painting every single cloud and just kind of go with the flow. It's all about light and shadows, always. Thank you so much.